Alright, welcome back to some more, or actually, welcome back, or, I'm back, whatever, since I don't know if I continue this or not, but, before I continue, let me just say, it's tough a little bit making videos, like, especially when you cut off at a video, because, right now, I'm playing this the next day, and while you all have to wait for cliffhangers by a day, if I didn't play this today, I'd probably have to wait until the following week or something to play this. So I would be stuck at a cliffhanger for like a week or more. So for those that complain, oh, I'm at a you stopped it at a cliffhanger. It's like, well, it's better than being stopped at a cliffhanger for over a week or something. But let's continue. I don't know where we left off exactly, except we are in the testimony part and listening to this awesome music that's remixed of the original game, and I do find it a little catchy. Also, the voices, I don't know how the voices I'm gonna do still, except Barnham should have a little bit of an Edgeworth sort of voice, but at the same time, a little more, not gruffed, but we'll get to it. But let's see. When I saw her, the witch was carrying a large milk bucket in one hand and a lantern in the other. Also, since no one's sleeping on the couch, I have free reign to be as loud as I want, so hold it! The large lantern you mention in this one, correct? There's no mistaking it. The fiendishly fiendish form, with its case darker than the darkest of nights. That was the lantern! Was that supposed to be a ripoff of the female Von Karma? It's just a normal lantern. What is this? It would seem the glass is shattered. And there seems to be a sizable amount of mud stuck to it. On closer inspection, it appears mud has stuck to its broken sections of glass. Most intriguing. So then, what exactly did the lantern get mud all over it? When did it get mud all over it? By the way, witness, you also saw a milk button? A bucket. Is that right? Indeed, I would bet my sword on it. And yet, that milk bucket mysteriously vanished from the scene of the crime. How many times must I say it, Sir Apprentice Baker? The problem is the Black Lantern. The girl had the lantern hanging from her wrist. Her hand was contorted in a strange way. Hold it. Where's my hold it? Hold it. Hold. Shut your damn goat up while I say, hold it. She had the lantern hanging from her wrist. Are you sure? Didn't I tell you to shut that goat up? Of course we're sure! That wasn't it! Then how else would the girl manage to hold her invisible scepter? Ma'am, please, just testify about what you actually saw. We just said that what we saw. Isn't that right, Snowy? Indeed, a handle as wide as this could be easily hung from the accused's small wrist. Yes, that's what we were telling you. Isn't that right, Mummy's little snowball? I ain't going back. It's no good. They're all bent on assuming Espella was holding that scepter. It seems it may be best not to pursue this particular line of questioning any further. Well, that's just super. I got a good look at her hand, and it looked for certain that she was gripping something. Hold it! What exactly was the defendant gripping? It was... that's right. It was something cane-like. What was it called? A witch's scepter? Yes, it was definitely that.
Objection!
Objection! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait, Miss Kira. You didn't actually see it, did you? Witness? This cane-like object, was it perhaps roughly this size? Oh, why, yes. It was exactly that size. It's no good. They're all bent on assuming Espella's was holding that scepter. It seems it may not be best not to pursue this particular line of questioning any further. Well, that's just super. Times 2. The witch was holding a scepter in her right hand. She did not drop it once before she was apprehended. Hold it! Wait. Let me get this straight. There was no way for you to see this invisible scepter, was there? Well now, that's common sense, boy! One cannot see what is not there to be seen! In that case, there was no way you could tell whether or not she might have dropped the scepter. Well, these old eyes of mine honed in on her hand like a hawk until they couldn't see straight. The young lady was most certainly holding an invisible scepter in her right hand, while at the same time also carrying the lantern. Or do you perhaps possess some piece of evidence to suggest that she dropped the scepter? There hasn't been any evidence so far to suggest Espella was holding the scepter. Evidence suggesting the scepter was dropped? Now that is an interesting idea. Huh? If Espella did not have the scepter in her hand, it would have been impossible for her to have used any magic. Well, yeah, that is true. I don't suppose. Might there be a piece of evidence that could prove this? Something to prove that Espella was not holding the scepter at the time of the murder. Don't we have that, like that, wasn't I... Where is my picture, my illustration? That's what I want to know. In other words, evidence to show that even if Espella had been holding the scepter, she would have dropped it. Is everything alright, Mr. Wright? The truth about what happened in that brief instant will likely decide Espella's fate. I have to do everything I can to find a contradiction in these testimonies. Guess I should take another look at the court record. Okay, we all know it's this statement. Objection? Okay, It was the lantern. I figured it was the lantern, but I would prefer to have shown the illustration. But whatever. There's a high probability that Miss Cantabella was not holding the scepter. But if, for the sake of argument, she had been holding it, she would undoubtedly have dropped it at the time of the incident. What do you mean? What I mean, Inquisitor Barnham, is that this lantern proves the defendant was not holding the scepter.
Objection!
What foolishness are you spouting, Sir Apprentice Baker? The lantern's handle was around the accused's wrist.
Objection!
Objection! Meaning she could have held the scepter? I'm afraid that's not the problem here, Inquisitor Barnham. The problem is with the broken glass, and the mud plastered all over it. What? The rain had ended just as the murder was taking place. That would make the path fairly muddy, don't you agree? When the thieves grabbed Miss Cantabella by the arm, the lantern must have fallen into the mud, right? The lantern fell into the mud? Why, of course. That makes sense, doesn't it, my little snowy woey? Well, what do you say, Inquisitor Barnham, if she was holding the scepter at that time? That would mean that when she dropped the lantern, the scepter would have fallen along with it. What's going on? Inquisitor Barnham seems speechless. The defenders managed to turn the thing around, even though he's just some baker. No way. Pay the witch's accomplices no heed. They're just trying to trick you. The audience is a little confused right now as well, a little bit. Trying to cheer Barnum on still, but I got them a little, not speechless, but confused. That? Just what is this?
Hold it!
Well, one moment, please! Everyone, please listen. Didn't we all just stand here and explain to the court what we clearly saw? Yeah, but evidence is everything. It's a lantern. So what? What's so special about it? Explain it to me so I can understand. So that you can understand? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious just by looking at it. Mr. Wright. What is it, Mr. Layton? There's something about this witness. Yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit too. I think she is the one that did it. Miss Kira, was it? Tell me, Miss Kira. How good is your eyesight? Exactly. Huh? As you just heard Mr. Wright explain, the answer to your query is quite obvious at a glance. Tell me, are you able to see the mud present on this lamp? Mud? What mud? What are you talking about? Get her out of here! Get the witness out of here! We're breaking this witness stand apart. Your Honor, did you just hear that? Yes, indeed. What does that mean exactly? You're just as brainless as the judge in Phoenix's world. It means that Miss Kira's poor eyesight is the reason she cannot see the mud present on this lantern. In other words,
The validity of Miss Kira's testimony is questionable at best.
Ugh. Ah! I ain't doing a scream. No, I'm not a girl.
Order. Order in the court! What is the meaning of this? What say you in your defense, witness? I highly recommend you give us nothing but the truth.
I'm sorry, Inquisitor Bonham. It's true. I need to wear glasses. All the time, in fact.
You need to wear glasses?
Aha! Now that you mention it, I did notice something odd about you today.
Oh, I thought you looked familiar. Gone is the mist that clouded my mind. In its place, clarity. Fair maiden, a pair of spectacles are as valuable as a shield to a knight. Make haste and procure another pair.
Now then, Miss Kira, tell me, at the time of the incident, were you wearing your glasses?
No, I was not wearing them. The truth is, I lost my glasses a couple of days ago.
You lost them?
So, her glasses were missing during the time of the incident.
Mr. Wright, might I recommend that you keep note of this fact. It could prove useful later.
Got it! Okay. Oh, we get evidence about glasses. Kira has poor eyesight and wears glasses, but she lost them a few days before the incident.
Am I to believe that there is nothing left to prove on this matter? At the time of the murder, the accused did not have a witch's scepter in her possession.
Wait just a moment! Snowy and I have much more left to say!
Oh, you do you?
That's right! My trusty sword of justice shall cut through this witch's treacherous lies!
I may have lost my glasses, but I haven't lost my will to testify.
Eureka! I remember now! Old age has a way of sneaking up on me. I'm sure you must understand.
Yeah, I understand. I understand you're all completely ridiculous.
It would seem we have not yet arrived at a clear-cut verdict. Witnesses, you may once again begin to testify to the court.
Well, at least the thing about this is that unlike court systems today where with Phoenix Wright, the judge gives the witnesses plenty of times to correct themselves. Well, this time period, they're more on the side of they want the they want the witch, like tried and deemed guilty. So they're a little more one-sided. So I can actually agree to this for the judge to say you can testify again.
Tell us about the scepter and how it was used in the detestable display of witchcraft that you all witnessed tonight.
Okay. About the Talia Magica continued.
The girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand.
What?
The accused is holding a milk bucket in the court illustration. Who's to say she wasn't also holding the scepter in that hand?
How the hell can you carry a bucket of milk while carrying a scepter in the other? That's like, you better have like your hand split into another two hands or something.
That milk bucket is lighter than it looks. Even Snowy could carry it. So she could have easily held the scepter as well.
Yeah, okay, you try carrying a bucket of milk and a scepter at the same time.
I did not see this milk bucket. Everything felt like an illusion.
You were very helpful, old man.
The scepter was in her other hand, you say? Indeed, such a proposal is feasible. Sir Baker.
Yes, Your Honor?
It is the strangest thing. The longer this trial goes on, the more you begin to resemble a legitimate defender.
And that is what I aim to go for. Huh. Barnham is a little speechless at that, dotting me off. Well, you want me to dot? You want to dot me off? I'll dot you off.
Well, no matter. Defender, you may begin your interrogation.
Alright.
The girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand. Hold it!
But did you actually see that with your own eyes?
Alas, magic's vile embrace hid the scepter from my sight, so I did not see it, per se. However, through my years of knightly training, I have learned to see through such cunning trickery.
Is that so?
For example, this morning I found myself unable to locate the whereabouts of my trusty blade. Its location was a mystery. So I tried my hardest to think and remember where I would have kept it last. And before long, behold! The guns of the it isn't transpired. I was carrying my trusty blade in the scabbard all along. Life is riddled with such trickery.
Would you say life is riddled with trickery, Nick? Only if we're talking about my life, Maya.
The accused is holding a milk bucket in the court illustration. Who's to say she wasn't also holding the scepter in that hand?
Hold it! Hold it! The court illustration. That's right. Judging by this sketch alone, it does look possible for her to hold the scepter. What are you talking about? She has a full grip on her left hand for grabbing it. What are you talking about, Phoenix? However, if you actually try holding that thing, you'll notice how thick it is. No way could she have been holding it exactly.
Objection!
What are you gonna object?
That is nothing more than a mere speculation. You cannot say for certain that she was unable to hold it.
You say speculation. I say it's fact. There's just no way a speller could have been holding that thing.
As expected, this testimony is filled with nothing but assumptions and conjecture.
Mr. Layton, yeah, I do have to agree with you, but how do I fight that?
You know, Mr. Wright, there does not appear to be any usable evidence present in the court illustration.
Wait, what? Mr. Wright, there does not appear to be any usable evidence present. Yeah, I agree. It does look that way. The milk bucket ended up disappearing from the scene. I forgot to grab me a drink. Could that actually be an important piece of evidence in itself? I'll be right back. Let me grab a drink. Okay. Let's grab this.
That milk bucket is lighter than it looks, Sonny. Even Snowy could carry it, so she couldn't have easily held the scepter as well.
Hold it. Just 1 second, Miss Mary.
What is it now? Snowy and I don't have all night, you know. Come on, then. Out with it!
I just have one question regarding your testimony. How exactly did you know that the bucket Miss Cantabella was carrying was light enough for Snowy to carry?
Huh? You see, the girl always uses the same bucket whenever she comes to buy milk from us. Naturally, I would have seen that bucket countless times before.
You've seen it countless times before. That doesn't answer my question. You specifically said that bucket is lighter than it looks. Miss Mary, at some point tonight, you must have held that bucket yourself. Well, she did go and purchase milk from, I'm guessing, her, so.
Up!
Now then, please enlighten us as to exactly when you got your hands on the bucket. Quit dotting me off and answer the question.
It's true. By the time Robs and Mugs had already been burnt to the ash, and then I noticed the milk in that bucket that the girl had been holding in her hand.
The milk? What?
Then, when those two went up in a blaze, Snowy and I made a dash for the bucket.
What?
As the girl stood there looking confused, we took the bucket from her to make sure it was okay.
What? Huh? Unbelievable. Witness, you.
Ah! Well, it was just so wasteful. The thought of all that disgusting ash falling into such precious milk.
You stole the milk bucket?
I felt I just had to protect the milk. So I took the bucket back to the farm with me.
Oh my God, are you serious? Madame, do you mean to tell the court that you took evidence from the crime scene back home with you? That explains why we were unable to locate the milk bucket at the scene. Yeah, what were you thinking at all?
Oh my, you're scaring poor Snowy. Here, I brought the bucket with me anyway. See, I didn't even tamper with the milk.
And you just now tell us? How long has this been going on? Like, how long has this trial been going on for, and you just now tell us? We've heard, what, 2 or 3 testimonies now? Even telling us the milk bucket was nowhere to be found at the scene, and you just now say something about it? What are you, freaking deaf? I'm sure you didn't. The court shall accept this milk bucket as evidence. Okay. Looks like that's one more piece of evidence for us. Now, will the gentleman with the impressive beard proceed with his testimony? That's cute. Very cute. I did not see this milk bucket. Everything felt like an illusion. Hold it! didn't see the bucket?
Indeed. Naturally, there was no way of me noticing the witch before the crime occurred. My mind was placid as the most placid of placid lakes. Oh. 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 But, like the early bird on its morning hunt for the delusive worm, my senses remain vigilant.
You do realize the other witnesses have all testified to have seen Miss Cantabella carrying the bucket, though, right?
And when you have journeyed as far as I have thought through life, you find all is but an illusion. That is, except for Lord Storyteller, of course.
What's up with the dots there? That's it for the testimony. Still, something is bound to be there. I can't believe Mary took the bucket home with her. I can't believe it either. Pretty sure everyone else can't either.
Miss Mary must be one of those thieving forest wolves we've been hearing about.
Let us hope she doesn't eat like a wolf as well, Luke, for her Snowy's sake.
I've got this new piece of evidence, but the question is, how can I use it?
You know, looking at this milk bucket now, it does look sort of different from the sketch, don't you think?
I think it does too. It might be a good idea to get a nice good look at the actual milk bucket. Okay. I'm not gonna present. Shut up! Let's see what we got here. The milk bucket Isabella is carrying at the crime. Mary brought it back to the to her farm. Let's press her and see if we can get anything new out of her. But as you can tell, that is not a rope bucket. A rope type of grasp, but it's actually a wooden grasp. So let's see. However, if you shut up. Yeah, Mr. Layton.
You know, Mr. Wright, there does not appear to be any.
Okay. Yeah. Shut up. No! Objection! There we go, that's what I wanted to do. But I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like where if you... I know in some of the Phoenix Wright games, if you press something too early, and then you go on with the testimony, press that, and you get evidence, and then you press the one thing that you were like, I think I should hold off on that. I wanted to make sure that was the case, but that wasn't, and now we got an objection! So objection! All of your testimonies have come to the same conclusion. The scepter was not in her right hand with the lantern. Therefore, it must have been in her other hand that was holding the bucket. However, that's not it. Not by a long shot.
What do you mean?
Contrary to what one of the witnesses stated, the milk bucket was in fact at the crime scene. And you'll also notice something about this bucket. Take another look at the court illustration. Something about the bucket seems a bit odd, wouldn't you say, Barnham?
Objection!
This illustration was based on eyewitness accounts. so a small discrepancy or two is conceivable.
Objection! Actually, Inquisitor Barnham, it's highly likely that this illustration is much less accurate than you think. In fact, there is a blatant contradiction present in this illustration. Admittedly, it does at first look possible that Miss Cantabella was holding the scepter and the bucket at the same time. However, if you look at the real milk bucket, that possibility goes up in smoke. Poof! Here, let's have a look at the real deal. Notice the handle?
Nah, that cannot be!
Oh, but it can be. This particular milk bucket has two pieces of wood on either side of the handle. If you were to try to hold both the scepter and this bucket, well, let's just say that'd be a challenge. To put it simply, there's no way anyone could hold both the bucket and the scepter at once.
What? That must mean, clearly you have the wrong bucket!
We never lie when it comes to milk. That is the very bucket I took.
It looks like the witnesses are as surprised about this as Barnham. What about the crowd?